Now, I'll begin with U.S.-led coalition airstrikes having reportedly killed dozens of civilians in eastern Syria. Local sources in the town of Hajin said that 14 children and 9 women are among the dead. A UK-based monitoring group said the dead are all relatives of Daesh terrorists. There's been no official confirmation of that so far. The UN says that about 10,000 civilians are trapped in Hajin at the moment. Joining us out of Damascus is our own Press TV's Muhammad Ali. Hello, Muhammad. All week long and beyond that, we've been hearing about tons of civilian casualties at the hands of these U.S.-led airstrikes, and this is the latest. We're hearing they're not civilians, but they are nevertheless women and children involved. Your thoughts, please.
Yes, that's right. The U.S.-led coalition has increased its airstrikes on the town of Hajin, which is about 110 kilometers to the southeast of Deir el-Zor in eastern Syria. In the past hours, such airstrikes have led to the killing of at least 26 people, mostly civilians, women and children. This is according to local sources and the locals of that town over there inside Hajin. The airstrikes mostly targeted a quarter called Hawame, which is a residential quarter. Of course, this is not the first time the U.S.-led coalition attacks that particular town over there, Hajin. Just 4 days ago, there was also a similar attack by the U.S.-led coalition, and at that time there was also the internationally banned white phosphorus munitions used, according to the civilians and the locals over there inside that town. Actually, the airstrikes of the U.S.-led coalition is not just killing civilians every time, and not just only destroying the people's houses, but also causing the displacement of many other civilians in that town itself. Many are fearing that there will be more and more airstrikes, so they are running out of their homes, and they are being displaced because of such airstrikes. Of course, the Syrian government has been always sending to the United Nations and the UN Security Council letters calling on the UN to investigate what the Syrian government describes as crimes and massacres and put an end to such attacks, especially that the U.S.-led coalition, since it was formed, is actually operating without a UN mandate, without the consent of the Syrian government. So the Syrian government looks at it as it is an illegal formation, an illegal coalition. But since that, up till this moment, we haven't seen actually actions, according to many experts also, by the United Nations or the international community to stop such attacks that is, at the end of the day, killing mostly civilians.
And where's the irony? Do you see the irony in that, Mohammed, that you see Western media and Western governments constantly blaming Damascus for civilian casualties throughout this last 7 or 8 years when they have taken no accountability and haven't even acknowledged the fact that they've been doing this throughout these airstrikes relentlessly against the Syrian population?
Yes, exactly. And here we also can remember what the Syrian government always, through its officials, say about such airstrikes, about the U.S.-led coalition or any kind of a foreign attack on Syria, which is under the claims that it is against terrorists, but eventually killing civilians, that those airstrikes are only destroying the infrastructure and killing civilians. The Syrian Foreign Minister Walid al-Muallim previously said that such airstrikes are destroying everything in Syria except for the terrorists themselves, and that the only force which is fighting terrorism genuinely on the ground is the Syrian army. This is what the Syrian officials always confirm. So at the end of the day, it is very clear that those airstrikes are killing only civilians, but not just only in Syria, but even if when those airstrikes by the U.S.-led coalition were happening in Iraq, also there were civilians being killed. So this is not a new thing to happen, and definitely according to the Syrian government, there should be a kind of investigation by the UN and an action in order to stop such attacks.
Thank you for that update out of Damascus, our own Press TV's Muhammad Ali. The United States has imposed sanctions on 5 people linked to the Lebanese resistance movement Hezbollah. One of the blacklisted individuals who've already been designated as global terrorists is Jawad Nasrallah, son of Hezbollah leader. Individuals are accused of coordinating Hezbollah's operational, intelligence, and financial activities in Iraq. U.S. Treasury says aim is to prevent Hezbollah from laundering money, procuring weapons, and training fighters in Iraq. Washington has already targeted the Lebanese resistance group with several rounds of sanctions. Hezbollah played an instrumental role in fighting foreign-backed terrorists in Syria. Joining us now out of Ontario, Canada, is Mr. Jason Unruhe, political commentator. Hello, Jason. It's a pleasure to have you back on the program. Your thoughts on the Hezbollah leader's son now getting sanctioned by the West?
Well, I think this is definitely a sign by the United States that they're worried about the unfolding situation inside of the Middle East. Hezbollah has been a very strong ally of Syria and cooperating with them on numerous measures to that regard, defeating the terrorists in the U.S.-backed terrorists inside of Syria. Not to mention that they are very closely aligned with Iran and Iranian interests, particularly with the turning of Iraq away from the U.S. and towards Iran. There is a budding relationship there that does include Hezbollah to some degree. Now, these accusations of smuggling oil, whether or not they're true, I haven't seen any evidence of them. But I think this is very reflective of the fact that the United States is losing influence inside the region. They went through the entire effort to overthrow Saddam Hussein for deciding to sell their oil in euros instead of US dollars. And now they seem to be losing control over Iraq once again. While they still have military forces inside the country, but they don't have the economic power that they once had. And I think that this is a reflection of the U.S. getting very frustrated. I mean, they've wanted to go after Hezbollah for some time now, but there hasn't been much of a real justification for doing so. They don't have a real reason to go in there, something that would affect them directly to justify their intervention. However, this growing influence between Iran, Hezbollah, Iraq, and some other states who want to move away from U.S. influence, this is concerning the U.S. So I think that this is probably the opening shot against Hezbollah for something that will probably turn into a larger conflict. I think that the United States is now fully ingratiating themselves into Hezbollah affairs much more than they have previously, because of them losing their influence inside of the region.
And Jason, why would you say Washington keeps going after Hezbollah the way it does, at least through rhetoric, trying to blacklist them as a terror organization, sanctioning their leaders and anybody that pretty much deals with Hezbollah? What kind of threat is Hezbollah to Washington, and why does Washington have such a thing for Hezbollah?
Well, frankly, Hezbollah is not a military threat to the United States at all. Most of the world is not a threat to the United States. However, Hezbollah is a threat to U.S. interests inside the region. They are allying with forces that are opposed to U.S. imperialist conflict, opposed to U.S. imperialist control over various countries, and that's the real threat that the United States sees right now, is a growing coalition of forces willing to counter, willing to stand up to their power inside the region. The U.S. sees, they're having maybe a bit of their Spartacus moment where one person stands up and then another person stands up, and then as more people stand up, others are more emboldened to do so. And I think that this, in the wider conflict in the Middle East, the U.S. is very much losing. They're losing influence over Iraq. They have an unwinnable war in Afghanistan. It's very clear that the Syrian government, the rightfully elected leader, Assad, and the legitimate government are going to eventually topple what remaining terrorists there are still inside of Syria, and that's the real threat here for the United States, is a growing front against their interests.
Thank you for joining us here out of Ontario, Canada, Mr. Jason Unruhe, political commentator. Thank you, Jason.
Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh Shem Shai by Shem Rakak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutations to all my fellow Akim that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so, making your body that living sacrifice. To the confusion of face Akim that are joined unto our ranks. To the hopeful elect and the Akwaf that are listening and learning, we are the Hebrew Israelites by blood, by race, according to the scriptures, according to history, according to the relics. All right, we are not associated with any black denominated groups of any sort, of any kind. The word black, or the concept of black, is exactly that. It is a social construct which was created, just as white was a social construct which was created for propaganda reasons, for control. Okay, Now that that's out the way, just going to go into a couple quick videos, and I'm going to open up with this scripture here, because you see on the screen it says SHTF prepping, why owner-operator truckers are quitting in droves. You have if you don't really understand the trucking industry, truckers are very important to America, because America is all based upon merchandise and commerce, and the number one way, railway is used, airplane is used, but the number one way that goods and services are transported that is via the trucks. That is the number one way. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes 12:3, and it reads, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, and when the sound of the grinding is low, he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." And it's true. And you can see that America is crumbling based upon the fact that we have this. Brother did a video about a month ago called darn it, now it leaves me. This gig economy, all right. With all the app jobs, the fact that we have to resort to app work is just yet another sign of the end, because traditional jobs are disappearing. All right, people with skills are not being able to put their skills to work. All right, because they're doing Uber and Lyft and Uber Eats and all these Postmates and these sort of things. All right, because what's happening is that, and a lot of people that are doing those jobs have degrees. Okay, they have degrees, or formerly had skills. And like the video is about to tell you, why these truckers are leaving the trucking industry and going into different things. There's a tremendous shortage for truck drivers. But flip side of the coin is that the places where they were delivering to are all shutting down. All right, so even this gig economy, you best believe that the gig economy, Uber and all that stuff, it's not going to last long. So get it while you can. Get it while you can. Get out there and grind while you can, because this is, hey, let's let it play.
So we are keeping an eye on pre-attack indicators, and I hate to use the word.
Let me go back a little.
Hey everybody, it's Dave. So we are keeping an eye on pre-attack indicators, and I hate to use the word attack, but that's the best description. So pre-attack indicators are, what are the things happening in society? What are the things happening in the economy that are a harbinger, or maybe, predictive of what might happen in the future? So are we looking down the road 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and forecasting things that are trouble spots? And one of the things that's continually coming up over and over again, and if you start reading this, is this electronic logging device, this ELD for these owner-operator truckers. So what's been happening is the ELDs, which is basically a computer which tells these truckers what to do. Like, you got to stop here. You got to sleep now. You can't drive over here. And supposedly this was all created to cut back on truckers maybe taking a bunch of no-dos and driving 24 hours straight to get a load through. But now the ELDs, they can be reset at a truck stop. If you put your brakes on the wrong way and some microwave tower resets your ELD, you can't move anymore. You have to take a rest. So some of these ELDs are being reset. And a lot of these drivers have said, I'm really getting sick of this, because I'm only allowed to drive, let's say, 10 hours. And if I get stuck in a traffic jam and we're not moving for 3 hours, then that all counts. So these loads are not getting through. And a lot of people in the owner-operator community are saying, I've had it. Screw this. I'm not making the money I used to make. Now, here's the problem. A lot of these owner-operators are dropping out of the trucking industry. And so there is a nationwide shortage of drivers right now. And you go, well, so what? Well, let me tell you so what. When you go to the supermarket to pick up your eggs and sugar, where do you think that stuff came from? It came from an overland trucker. It came from We used to call it LTL back in the day, less than truckload. And when I had my little business when I was 19, it was an LTL, radio communication system, so that the trucks could receive new orders from dispatch to go pick up loads. Because back in the old days, the trucks would drive and the driver would stop every 20, 15 miles and call dispatch and say, you got any new loads for me? And dispatch would say, yeah, turn around, go back 25 miles and pick up a load over at such and such. So it's very, very, very inefficient. So I played around a little bit with the trucking industry back then, and you know, CB radio and all those wonderful days was kind of a cool thing. But it's not a cool thing anymore. Now it's overly regulated, too much red tape, and these drivers are like, hey, you know, we're not really into this anymore about having a computer tell us what to do, when to get up, when to drive, having it reset on us. We're not making the money.
And see, that lies the problem, man, because that ELD is a precursor to the chip. And the same way that they put that ELD in those truckers, inside the trucks, they want to also put the chip inside of you. And people are going to be monitored the same way. All right? And no one's shopping, man. Why do you think Sears is shutting down? Kmart is shutting down. You had over 5,000 stores shut down last year. Way over 5,000. And they're expecting it to happen again. And it looked like Sears and Kmart aren't going to even make it through the Christmas shopping season. So you best believe that after this Christmas shopping season, that's going to be less shopping, man. All right? Because it's all coming and spiraling to an end. And Esau is shutting down this society because he's done with America, man. All right? Like those fires that are roaming through and destroying this place. Now, I'm not sure if Esau used this weapon or if it just, you know, if the Most High struck lightning to all that dry foliage and it burned down. If it really was a campfire, who knows? But even whether it was from the Most High or if it was done by men, either way it was from the Most High, because the Most High controls the actions of men. He controls everything. All right? And that's further destroying California. And now, to make matters even worse out there, now that I'm on that subject, is that now you got in Loosely, this place, okay, it's called Woolsey, California. You got fires burning over nuclear waste now. So that's turning into a living hell out there, man. And we've been warning you Californians for a long time, man. And California is one of the most wicked places on the earth, man. All right? America is wicked and California is extra wicked, I promise you. The things that go on out there. Okay? Which is going to lead me to my next scripture. Because as a result of that, a lot of these women are losing their jobs as well in these high positions, man. And I'm going to click to the next video. All right? And this is Isaiah 32:9. And it reads, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vengeance shall fail, and the gathering shall not come." So it's not going to be no more shopping. Okay? And a lot of you women, when that thing happened down in Venezuela, you had women who were the day before were scientists and doctors and lawyers, were just simply prostitutes. And that's where you're headed. Here's the proof.
Let's record.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. And salutations to all you occupants that push this word in sincerity and truth. We're coming back at you with another lesson. We've been saying it, man, for years and years and years, that these women are going to be humbled, man. They're going to go back into a lower state. These proud women. When I say proud women, I mean from the working class woman who works that 9 to 5 every day, who's making $50,000 on up, to that welfare queen who's getting government benefits and living proudly, you know, getting her hair done and all this other type of stuff, nails and using men. And you know, these women that get these child support checks and all this type of stuff. All these proud women, they're going to be brought to a lower state. And there's a new thing going on, which started over there in the UK and London, where these women have lost their jobs and everything, or got divorced or broke up, or whatever the situation is, and brought them to a lower state where they basically selling their bodies to pay the rent to the landlords, you know what I'm saying? And now it...
You see that? And they're making business and commerce out of this, and they're finding ways. When they shut down that back page, man, and I've never been one of them back page type guys, but when they shut that down, they made all these girls hit the streets, and then a lot of them now are starting to lose their apartments or use their apartments, luxury apartments as well. Okay, let me grab another quick scripture. It says, therefore, hear now this is really talking about Esau, but you know, everything in the scriptures is manifold, because a lot of you women are about to experience this personally. This is Isaiah 47:8, and it says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, thou dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and in one day loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, man. So you women are going to be brought to a low state, especially you super well-to-do women that's been uplifted here in America, man. All right. As a matter of fact, let me let it play a little bit more.
Has come over here to the United States, where these women are doing the same thing that they were doing in the UK, and also you have landlords who are setting up brothels, basically, you know what I'm saying, for men to come in there and pop women off in there, you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this article from the...
So there you go, man. The landlords are actually in on it, and they're using their apartments. Now here in Chicago, every time I walk past the Red Door, which is basically, every know it's a hookup place to go for dudes to go get sugar mamas and women to go get sugar daddies, right? If you're a young guy, you know, and it's mostly an Edomite hangout, but every now and then you see Jacob in there too. But it's a little piano bar called the Redhead. All right, it's called the Redhead, not the Red Door. And I walked past there at 0:00 on my way to my first early morning client, who lives literally a block from there. Okay, it's in an upscale river. Is that River North? No, it's not quite River North. Not even sure what to call it, because it's not quite the Gold Coast either. But nevertheless, it's on the other side of the bridge there, on the other side of the water over there, downtown. All right. But when I walk past there, when it's still dark out, I always see these cards on the ground. So I start picking them up. All right. And this is what they are. So these women with all these degrees, this is what they're resulting to. Okay. I start picking these cards up, man. All right. They're all over the place. Okay. BDSM, fetish, professional, dominatrix, all that kind of mess. All right. And so these Edomite women, this is what they're resulting to, man. You were lawyers and doctors yesterday, but now, so they got all these business. I just start picking these cards up, man, because they're always lying all over the ground outside of the club. Okay? So these women are using the Red Door to promote their businesses, for sex and things of that nature, man. This place is finished, man. This gig economy won't last, and it can't last. America is literally on this last leg, man. You know, it's on the machine that's breathing for you. I forget what you call it. Life support. Okay? You can't put Band-Aid on a shotgun wound, man. You're gonna bleed out. This is Amos 6:1. It says, "Woe to them that are at ease in Zion, and trust in the mountain of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations, to whom the house of Israel came." All right? You came to America in slavery, all right, to serve slavery. Some of you Israelites were already here and your land was taken and you served slavery. But yet you still run into for help to the very people that did this to you and are still doing it to you. All right? And now the Lord is bringing it all down. So with that, I hope this was an edifying and motivating video. Just hang in there, Akim. Do what you got to do. You know, we just got to make do until that time comes. You know, just keep your faith, keep your head up. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Rakak Wadash Wa Abad Babal.
At the bar, you know, having fun, dancing, and then all of a sudden you're like the bang bang of the gunshots, and it just started going crazy, and people were pushing. We thought it was a joke. We didn't take it seriously at first. It sounded like you freeze because it sounded like firecrackers. So then our friends got the bar stools and they started slamming it against the window so we could get out.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And much love, greetings, and salutations to the Tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect. All right, Rabbah Ahab, Laha Bakayar. Much love to the elect. I just want to do a lesson, and I'm going to entitle it, "Is This the City?" Of the matter of fact, I want to actually start off with the scripture, just so you know where I'm going with this. This is Lamentations 2:15. It says, "All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth?" And I believe that's what I'm going to entitle this video. All right. Now, what you're looking at in this video, which there's hundreds of these kind of videos on YouTube. All right, probably thousands. And this channel in particular is this person, which is an Edomite. He specializes in going into neighborhoods, inner city neighborhoods, where it's extreme poverty and violence, and he makes sure he goes into that area and gets everything on camera. And what they call this is slum tourism or slumming. And it's basically when you visit the slums of a city, especially for diversion or amusement. Matter of fact, let me get the definition so you can see for yourself that this is actually a thing that so-called white people do, Edomites. All right. Real quick, slumming. It says spend time at a lower social level than one's own through curiosity or for charitable purposes. Put up with conditions that are less comfortable or of a lower quality than one is used to. All right. It says from dictionary.com, from back slum, dirty back alley of a city, street, or slakia of poor or low people. Originally a slang or a cant word meaning room, especially back room, of unknown origin, pastime popularized by East End novels. All right. And that basically what these devils do is they take it upon themselves to go into the inner cities where Jake is at, where they're suffering, and they turn that poverty into entertainment or amusement for them. And they know that it's momentarily that they're there, and they can easily escape. So when they take their cameras and come to where Jake is at in the ghetto, they make sure their doors are locked. They make sure their cameras, is right on the dashboard, and they basically take that tour like they strolling through Jurassic Park, man. And basically to look down on Jake. All right, and there's videos like this in every major city. All right, whether it's Detroit, Baltimore, St. Louis, New Orleans, New Jersey, parts of New York, where they show you how Jake lived. And when I saw it, this was like on a recommended on the right. I don't even know why, but I just decided to click on it. And when I watched it, I thought like, wow, like this scripture came to mind. These nations love to see us down like this, man. Completely out of our mind, completely spiritually dead. All right, under low vibration and impoverished condition. Our enemies they love seeing us like this, man. But we understand why we have to live like that. That's because of the curse. All right. And when you go to Deuteronomy 28, this is what the Lord told us, that if we was to break the contract that He made with us, that these conditions would He place us on, man. All right. This is Deuteronomy 28:15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou shalt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all His commandments and His statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field." And it doesn't matter where we at in any country on either of the 7 continents. You're gonna be a curse, man. Wherever you at, man, you're gonna live where the poverty rate is sky high. All right, everything is just of low vibration, low quality. Where you're gonna live like a straight up a peasant, man. And to show you that we got to be the Israelites is at one point, like, because this is in Watts. They just ran through the PJs and the projects in Watts. All of LA at one point in time, before Jake migrated over here, was all white. It was so-called white people, man. It was a big suburban city. And then once Esau had it for themselves, it was all nice looking, it was well kept. But when Jake got up in there and moved in, and Esau moved out, and they moved towards the hills, they moved by the water. They up in Beverly Hills and places like Brentwood and places like the Beverly Hills, Bel Air, stuff like that, over in Orange County. But they left the city to Jake, man. So that's why the homes look kind of decent compared to the southern, midwestern, and eastern cities. But when you go there, you'll see that it's not what it looked like. The same thing over here in Vegas. Everybody think about the nightlife. They think about the Las Vegas Strip. Expensive resorts and hotels and casinos. Buffets. Tourist attractions. But as soon as you go past a certain street out here, you'll see that it's nothing but straight up poverty, man. It smells like shit. It's dirty. It's dusty. A lot of the homes in Northtown out here, it look like a bunch of houses made out of cardboard, man. All right, it's a shithole for real. All right, and then we know the economy is definitely not doing well. So this is what you see. Look at that, man. And Esau loves watching that. And that's why I praise, give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, call law Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for taking the men of the Lord out of this low vibration, man. All right. Though we came from out of these kind of conditions in these places, the Lord raised up our minds, man. We're not depressed. We don't have that depressive mentality that are people that are still in these cities that's living like this. They're on drugs and bugged out, drunk, hanging out, ain't doing shit because it's really depression, man. You know, that's what this is what the Apostle Tahar was talking about in his videos, in his previous videos, man. Jake having low self-esteem, you know, having that woe is me spirit. So they don't do nothing for themselves. They feel hopeless. So this is what Jake do. Look at this, man. This guy, Jake in the dreads, you know he's on some type of PCP or some type of drug. You know, he on crack or something. And you got these wicked ass knucklehead niggas. They look like they some bloods or whatever. They getting this on camera. It's entertaining to them. You know, our people are done, man. All right, finished. The Most High got to destroy America, man. And these Jakes, when they got to die, and they're gonna come back in their right mind. They're not in their right minds, man. Their vibration is completely low. All right. And this is what Esau looks upon. He loves looking at Jake in this condition. It reminds them that they got the victory over us. They conquered us, man. All right. But now the Lord is raising the elect back up, and they're standing on their feet. All right. We're not dead, man. These are still the dead bones that he can look on. But the Israelites, the brothers that's out there that's raising up and waking up, this is what's scaring Esau, man. He'd rather focus on Jake like this than to worry about us, man. Because we reminding him that, hey, we ain't on this level. All right. We got wisdom. The Lord sent us, returned to us his spirit, man. All right. Now we know that we used to be kings and priests and warriors. All right. So let me start up. This is back in Lamentations 2 and verse 11. It says, "Mine eyes do fail with tears, my bowels are troubled, my liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the suckling swoon in the streets of the city." All right. And that's what you see. That's part of the curse, man. All right. But this is going to change. Go watch that movie White Man's Burden, man, with Harry Belafonte and John Travolta, man. And it'll show you how we was living in Esau's neighborhoods, and Esau had the ghetto. That's how it's gonna be in the kingdom, man, when Esau gets taken down. And just how he looks down upon us and watch us, we're gonna be able to see Esau in his lower state. And you have other nations looking down on him like, damn, is this the man? Like it tells you in Isaiah 14, is this the man? You know? This is the same man who was suited and booted, and he was the white. This man was wiser than Daniel. Very highly intelligent. This man was very wealthy. He owned all the corporations and businesses. He owned Hollywood. He owned everything, the housing market, the banks. Now this man is living in the pit, looking all dusty and dirty and grimy looking and stank. But that's what's going to happen, man. But right now, this is their turn to rule. And right now, we're still, on punishment as a nation. But the Lord is slowly but surely going to rise us out of this punishment. All right. The punishment is now being lifted up, man. All right. The iniquity is becoming accomplished. All right. Continuing on, it says, they say to their mothers, where is corn and wine? When they swoon as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul was poured out unto their mother's bosom, what things shall I take to witness for thee? What things shall I liken unto thee, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great like the sea. Who can heal thee? All right. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. Talking about these fake phony pastors, all right, that got churches in these cities, in these areas, and they lie to their congregation, you know, instead of telling them the truth, tell them why they living like this. The reason why it's like this around here because we on punishment from the Heavenly Father, because we're the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, you know. These pastors ain't finna tell these niggas that, all right. They just want that money. You rob from the poor, all right, and then you go and live with the rich. It says to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. They ain't they're not signing crime, and they not lifting up their voice like a trumpet and showing our people their transgression, man. They just pushing peace and prosperity, you know, and that whole plantation Christian garbage. All right. Verse 15, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. All right. And of course, Esau, he wouldn't have been, if this was a Jake doing this, they would have probably walked up on his car. But because they probably saw a white face, they didn't think nothing of it. That's a white man, you know, leave him alone. And Esau could just roll, he could get out and walk around in his neighborhood if he want. And Jake ain't gonna touch him. All right. And he's going around just filming your dysfunctionality, you know. You're a laughing stock, man. It says saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? You mean to tell me the people that live here, these are the Lord's chosen, man? You mean to tell me these are supposed to be descendants of King David and King Solomon and Moses and Aaron, you know, of the Lord Yahweh Shai and Apostle Paul, Apostle Peter? These people right here, man, they used to be kings. They used to be priests. Nah, man. These are just nothing but niggers. And they deserve to be where they at. And we don't feel nothing if the LAPD roll up and blow them away. That's how Esau feel and these other nations feel about you tribes, man. All right. How does Edomite could just get out and just find some random street shit going on? He could just pop out with his cell phone out. Come on, man. It says, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed it up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. All right. And that's what makes them rejoice in their heart, is seeing Jake defeated like that, man. All right. This is all for their amusement. And then as soon as they done, once they get all the footage they need, they take their ass right back over to Hollywood or Brentwood, you know, or they go back to Orange County, you know, Riverside, go back to Bel Air, wherever, man. You know, it says, the Lord have done that which he had devised, which he had fulfilled his word, and that he had commanded in the days of old. He have thrown down and have not pity, and he have caused thine enemies to rejoice over thee. He has set up the horn of thine adversaries. All right. And that's what, that's what these other nations, they see that the Lord basically ain't dealing with us. So that's why they think it far-fetched that we're even proclaiming to be the Lord's chosen people. But this is what the scriptures say regarding the conditions of his people. They would be under this curse. Okay? And now you're starting to see Edomites, they're also starting to fall into this curse. That's because the Lord is finally bringing down your pump. Okay? He's bringing your power down, man. All right? It's not enough Edomites. I mean, it's not enough of pie for all the Edomites to eat from. So you got to sacrifice some of them and push them down with Jake. You know, man. Yeah, this is it, man. But this is all finna get ready to pass away, man. And Jake, this is the first heaven and the first earth. All right, when we was on the bottom, but the Lord's finna bring Esau down, and it's gonna be a new heaven and a new earth, and we don't have to. We'll never live like this again, man. It tells you that in Revelation 21. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Revelation 21 and 3. Let's get that. It says, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men." And this is talking about the men of Israel. All right, New Jerusalem, that's talking about Israel, man, the elect of Israel. All right, they're going to be transformed. They're going to be upgraded. All right, with spiritual power. It says, "And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their God. And the Most High power shall wipe away all their tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death." And now all that occurs here is just straight up death, man. All right, just death. Niggas killing each other, drug overdose, all that. That's gonna pass away. None of us is gonna live in death, man. All right, and Jake is dead. This is just to show you that Jake is they're dead, man. All right, but we're alive in Hamashiach, in this word, this wisdom. It says, "And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." All right, and that's when the Lord is he's gonna finally bless us, man. So this is what these devils do, man. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Because like I said, we're gonna trade places, man. Okay? And we're gonna look down on you. Is this the man? Just like y'all said to us. Is this the perfection of beauty? Deuteronomy 30 and 7, it says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." All right, and that's the enemies are the other nations. Okay? And that's what the Lord's gonna do. We're gonna switch places, man. All right? They gonna be the niggas, they gonna live in the ghetto. All right? And we gonna live in palaces. We ain't gonna even live in mansions. We're gonna be living in palaces, man. All right? Esau in the kingdom, he ain't gonna even live like this, man. This is too good for him. We just gonna put his ass right in those pits, man. All right? And Esau ain't gonna have no nice car to drive over to his project building. Jake, even in poverty, they even try to do good for themselves, even living in the fucking hood, man. They'll live in a shitty ass apartment building or a project, but they'll have a nice ass whip though. You know, that's just how Jake is, man. This is Psalms 93. It's like 94, verse 3. It says, Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? All right, and that's going to the elites all the way down to the average proud ass Edomite, man. How long are they going to triumph? Well, the scriptures say the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. All right, he can't his seeing his months are determined. All right, he can't go past his boundaries. All right, his days of rulership is being cut off. All right, and that's why one last time the Lord's gonna allow this devil, because he's gonna have that great, wrath. He's gonna come down on us like a great flood, man. Come down on us having great wrath because he know that he have what, but for a short time. All right, you're gonna have the National Guard or the UN troops or the FEMA troop. They're gonna be patrolling through these streets. All right, and rounding these jakes up. Some of these jakes and some of these niggas, they're gonna be shooting back at Esau. You know, it's gonna happen, man. But that's part of Jacob's trouble, and only a remnant is gonna make it out of there. But that remnant of that make it out, that's the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, and the kingdom is gonna be prepared for them. Okay, and these nations will no longer see us like this, man. The missiles are gonna wipe all these. This is the land of our captivity, man. And then those missiles are gonna wipe all this away. All right, it's gonna wipe all this shit away. All right, because this is not our rest. Anyway, let me get one more scripture. Lamentations 1:21. It says, they have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. And that day is talking about when the Lord put the curses upon our enemies. And like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters out there, y'all see it for yourself, wherever you stay at. There's a lot of homeless Edomites that live right in the hood, all right, right in the impoverished neighborhoods with Jake. They sharing the same crack pipes and shooting themselves with the same needle and all that shit, man. You know, Jake got Esau pushing his basket with the soda cans and all that, man. So Esau, the curse is coming upon you too. His proud ass devil coming from his suburban neighborhood to come over here to watch Jake. Hey, pretty soon all you devils are gonna live like this, man. And you actually gonna live lower than this. All right. The Lord, see, the Most High, he has the power of setting up a nation, all right, on high, putting them on high. He also knows how to take them down and put them in a fucking pit, man. All right. He knows how to bring them very low. That's what he did to us, and guess what? He's getting ready to bring us back on top and set us on high again. Like it tells you in 1 Samuel, man. He raised the beggar from the dunghill to set him on a throne to be among the princes, man. All right, and that's what he's gonna do. Because you devils, you got your kingdom by way of rape, robbery, violence, genocide, murder, deception. That's how you got your riches, man. That's how you got your empire. And it's getting ready to, and it's you in the process of it deteriorating, man. It's vanishing away. All right. Verse 22, it says, let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me. for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many and my heart is faint. All right. And all these lamentations that Jeremiah is crying about, dealing with his people, these conditions are going to be applied to you, you Edomites. All right. Especially when you go into captivity. All right. But anyway, I pretty much, I'm gonna end it there, and I hope this was edifying to you sincere brothers and sisters out there. I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Until next time, I say Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers, Yakim, that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedoms to do so. To the hopeful elect, to the confusion of faith brothers that are joined unto our ranks. To them I say Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites by blood, by race, according to the scriptures, according to true history. Not the fabricated lies which have been pushed on the world since the time of the Renaissance and thereafter. Okay? We are not associated with any black organization or any black denominated organization. All right, we are simply the Hebrew Israelites, which makes up primarily Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, and of course, our scattered brethren among the heathens, the confusion of faith. Without any further ado, I'm going to chime in on the subject matter of using Black Friday. Because most people don't even know what Black Friday is about. Black Friday was basically what really started the stock market. It was a special day at the stock market, and yes, the slavery of the so-called Negroes and the theft of America, which was a genocide of the so-called natives, is what financed and backed up the stock market today, as you know. All right. And Black Friday was a special day because they gave deals. I once heard, what's her name? The chick from the television show, The View, Joy Behar, the Jewish chick, said that the Jews had nothing to do with slavery. No, history tells a different story because the slave markets were closed on Jewish holidays. All right, so. You know, this whole hatred between Esau and his brother Amalek, all right, who are the makeup primarily the people who call themselves Jews today. They're the same people. The so-called white man and the Jewish people are the same people. They're all Esau, Edom. All right, point blank, period. That plain and simple. And Amalek kind of left the majority of Esau out. Didn't really share the spoils with them in that way. Okay, but when you watch this coonery, let me turn this sound down so I don't get any hits. But this is a Walmart commercial about Black Friday, and it looks to me almost like a damn minstrel show. Okay, that's what it looks like, you know. And Jake is just basically cooning for Esau, and it goes to show you too how saltless Esau is and how they hate Jacob so. But they still love to use us for their entertainment. All right, even going back to the minstrel shows and in yesteryear. But even today, when you turn at cartoons and movies, even Starbucks commercials, from the simple, everything's about hip hop and rap and hip hop and rap. But yet they hate you so much. All right, I even saw like a luxury car commercial. And, in the soundtrack, the music playing in the background is all hip-hop. Okay? But you people wonder why, why we can't get down as men of the Lord with the world. All right? Because we hate this world. And they're not, and the people of this world are completely not spiritual. They don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. They don't pay attention to or follow the Bible. All right, look at some of this folly that's going on with these women. 19 women got elected to be judges. right? And then they'll swear up and down that this is a Christian society. Okay? If you ask me, those are just, those women, all they're doing is help furthering oppression. That's all they're doing. They're help furthering oppression, man. Point blank, period. Because when these laws were set up in this country, you were still in chains, man. You were still a you were still a slave. You were still a slave when these laws were set up. All right, you were 3/5 of a man on the plantation, and they would use your numbers to sway votes and things of that nature. That's all Esau would do, use you to sway votes. And now he's taken this same woman, your sister, and turned her against you, man. But it's only fulfilling scripture. All right, so here, let's grab this real quick. This is Amos 3 and 3. And it reads, can two walk together except they be agreed? And it's hard to especially when it comes to the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negro woman, she's either one or two things. She's either super ghettofied or she's been Edomitized. All right? Meaning she's gone to school, because Esau makes it actually easier for them to get assistance, to get their education, and all that sort of thing, man. They get a fast track through the educational system, through the loan system, and all that things. The same benefits and opportunities are not afforded to Jake men, being of whether the Northern or Southern Kingdom, as it are to our women. And that's just a fact, man. You can look into that yourself. All right, but the scriptures clearly say that the woman is not supposed to be over, man. A woman is not supposed to be in a position of being a judge, man. The Lord didn't set it up like that. All right, so let's go to Isaiah real quick, to the book of Isaiah, and see what the Lord has to say about women being over men. All right, this is Isaiah 3, and I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. All right. And that's Esau, because he's the one that set this up. All right. Verse 12. And this is the point. As for my people, all right, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And you got to remember, through the woman we all died, man. All right, sin came into the world through a woman, because of a woman. All right, and the Lord did not set it up for women to be leaders. What the woman is authorized to lead is the children in her household. All right, under the guidance of her man. That's it. And the older women are to instruct the younger women on how to be subservient to their husbands and do the same thing. That's where they're supposed to have their leadership. A woman is not supposed to be in a position where she's giving orders to men. And see, and Esau then really screwed himself up, because he also put these women in positions to rule over Edomite men as well. So these low-level Edomite men are also going to have to face the wrath of these women. And and they're going to enforce what? Corrupted, illegitimate laws that the Lord is not with. All right. As a matter of fact, America's so full of crap, man. They don't even follow their own laws and their constitution. The court systems are ran by UCC laws. All right. Which is a maritime law, which is what controls the seas. So all you Americans with all this voting and all this other, none of that means anything. You don't have a candidate that's saying get rid of UCC laws and put the Constitution back. You don't have a candidate saying get rid of the Fed and bring back the gold standard. Those are only things that could have helped America. But the Edomites in charge, who don't give a shit about you other Edomites, you low-level working class Edomites with your master's degrees, they don't give a damn about you. All right, you never matter. You're on their depopulation program. You live under the same skies that the tribes live under, and they're putting that crap in the skies and putting it in the water, contaminating the water and the food. All right, and now they put the nigger woman over you Edomites. All right, It's getting ready. All holy hell is about to let loose in Texas, man. In that area, in that county where all these women are judges, man. All right. So Jake is already gonna be oppressed. She's gonna impress him even further. All right. But they're gonna oppress you heathens too, man. You better believe it. Okay. This is Isaiah 9 and 6. Yeah, because women are emotional creatures, man. They're gonna rule with emotions and not with logic. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna rule with their emotions, man. Okay, all that I think and feel. This is Isaiah 9 and 16, and it reads, "For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed." Why? Because the Lord didn't call on women to be judges. The judges is a position of a man. Right? The Israelites are the judges of the earth. Right? Esau covered up their faces. It tells you that in Job 9 and 24. Because, you know, it's funny how Esau brags about being a ruling class people and this, that, and the other. And as soon as you bring out Job 9 and 24, all of a sudden they don't rule the world anymore. Well, other people rule too. No, the Edomites have their voice and their ways walketh through the earth, man. Their vibration. All right, that's why you're on the verge of World War III, because these heathen nations are trying to break away from you, and you're a house divided. Okay, this is Micah. Let's go to the book of Micah 3 and verse. I'm going to start with verse 1. I'm going to read actually 3 verses in this chapter. Verse 1. "And I said, Hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not you? Is it not for you to know judgment?" So the men of the Lord is supposed to be the princes of Israel. All right, the powers of Israel. That's what they for. You are a prince. For God, you have power, man. You're a prince of the power, man. That's what Yasharallah means. What Israel means, man. Yahweh, he is, all right, or he to be. Yahweh Shai, he is the Savior, all right, and Yasharallah, he's a prince of power, man. Okay, of what power? The power of heaven, the power of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Micah 3 and 5, and it says, "Thus saith Yahweh concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and he that putteth not into their mouths, they even prepare war against him." Verse 9. "Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and the princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity." And that, you know, and that can fall on you leaders like so-called Jesse Jackass, you know, Al Sharp Tongue, Meeks, you know, all these false pastors, man, Dr. Price, you know, and all these big mega churches, even here in Chicago, man. You know, we don't have any leaders, man. Your leaders, you scoff and get on the comment boards and talk trash to the judges, man, because the Lord didn't set up no women to be judges, man. You know, and that's not being hateful on the sisters. That's just the way the Lord set it up. This is Proverbs 8 and 4. "Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man." To the Israelites, man. All right? It's you the people that, you know, you people out there, this video haven't even gone up yet, and I can only imagine the scoffers on it, man. All right? But, you know, you people out there are the ones that have a problem with what the Bible says and call yourselves Christians, but you can't stand to pay attention to what the scriptures say, man, or follow what the scriptures say. All right, last scripture, man. This is Timothy. Must be the mailman outside, Salakia. This is 1 Timothy 2 and 11. And it reads, well, I'll start at verse 10. It says, But which becometh a woman professing godliness with good works? Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp the authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. So the Lord forbids a woman to be put in a position over a man. And in whose society does that happen? Esau's. All right. He's got all these women as police officers, as officers in the military, and you know, and high places in government. And that's against the Bible, which they swear that America was a Christian, you know, it was a Christian-based society. All right. When you go into the courtrooms, they swear you in on the Holy Bible, but they follow nothing that's in it. You know, they even read from the Apocrypha, 1611, proving that it's a part of the Bible, legitimizing it. You know, I mean, it didn't need them to be legitimized, but the fact that they read from the Apocrypha in your president's inauguration proves that what we're saying is true. All right. So with that, you know, I hope this was an edifying lesson. Those who needed to be edified were edified. Those who need to be corrected, were reproved. And those who need to be condemned are condemned. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Avashai by Shem Rakar Kodash Wa Abba Babal.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Kodash. Double honor to the apostles, to the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And I want to give a sincere shalom to the house of David the elect. All right, I'm the brother Zion. And I want to go into a brief topic, speaking about Daniel's the 12th chapter, okay, the time of trouble that's coming. All right, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the men of the Lord, and the prophets that go out there on the highways and the byways weekly, okay, we always speak about these times, okay, and it's important that we measure the times diligently in itself, and we continue to go out there on the highways and the byways and preach this word, okay, because preaching this word, all right, is something that's gonna, Lord willing, save us, okay. Preaching his word is something that's gonna, Lord willing, save us in the time of affliction, in the time of trouble. All right. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be written in the book." Okay, so it says there's going to be a time of trouble, man. All right, and that time of trouble is basically going to be, Jacob's trouble. All right, all over again, man. Jacob's trouble, the time of trouble that's coming. Okay, because our people are going to face great death. They're going to face famines, pestilences. All right, starvation. Things of that nature, man. Okay, and the men of the Lord are out there on the highways and the byways warning you every week and also during the week that you need to get right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, that time of trouble is going to be a terrible season for our people. All right, so that's why we want to be under the bubble of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and Lord willing, we endure and he protects us, man. All right, it says, "And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." So some people, guess what? They're gonna wake up in these last days, man. You're gonna have Jakes that's waking up in these last days. All right, those last hour Israelites. But some people are gonna wake up to shame and contempt. Some of them are gonna wake up to their destruction. The ones that mock the prophets. All right, the ones that they reap wickedness, so they're going to sow wickedness, man. You reap what you sow. All right. It says, "And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever." And that's what we're out there to do, man.
We're out there to turn brothers to righteousness, man. Okay, it's time to turn to righteousness. It's time to stop being a so-called African American, a nigga. Okay, it's time to, you following black culture, which leads to death and destruction, instead of following the Most High, the God of the Bible, the true power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, because the things that this society has taught us, it ultimately teaches you to be nothing. Okay, to be selfish. All right. So we have to turn from those ways, man, and turn back to the ways of our Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I'm trying to make this quick because I'm on my lunch break. Let's get Jeremiah. Hey brothers, we gotta get right, man. We gotta get right with the Lord. Salakia, Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, so Jacob's trouble. Okay, the hour of martial law. The through the spirit, I was trying to do a video earlier about Esau having those FEMA coffins. All right, down there in Georgia, that's lined up for miles and miles, man. Those FEMA coffins that can fit, 4 to 5 bodies in it, depending on the size of the person. Okay, and they're still going to use those, man. All right, and through the spirit, I might do a video on that, man. Remember the FEMA coffins, So the Lord is getting ready he's going to send plagues upon the world, like he said, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. The Lord is going to send these plagues upon the world, man. All right. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. And that's right, man. All right, because in the kingdom is going to be order, and King David is going to be, he's going to be our king. All right, under Yahweh Shai. And then you're going to have, the 12, the elect. Okay, but there's going to be order, man. We're gonna get our order back as a nation. It says, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So, we have to go through this time that the scriptures say, man. All right. The time of trouble, the hour of temptation, and things to come. We have to go through that, But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we ultimately got to have faith in the Lord, man. All right? Ultimately, we got to have faith in the Lord. Okay? But we're going to have to go through these things in order to get the kingdom. The scriptures also say in the book of Acts, through much tribulation, that we were going to enter into the kingdom of heaven. All right, so this is not going to be an easy path. It's not going to be an easy road. All right, so the Lord is, we are going to get rest, brothers, but we have to labor before we get the rest. Salakia. He says, for I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. All right. So ultimately, like it says in Psalms 147, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. Ultimately, the Lord is going to deal with the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. Okay, that's why it's important to know that you're an Israelite, man. Okay, so the time of trouble has to come, and then after that, Lord willing, we're of the elect, we're gonna receive the kingdom. But the scriptures do say all Israel shall be saved. All right. So with that, that's just a quick lesson. I got to get back in here through the spirit. Little quick 10-minute break. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And I want to give a sincere shalom to the house of David, the elect. And to the next lesson, I say shalom.
No? Nah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
All right, Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise to the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, in the name of His Son, which is Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the nation of Yashra Allah, better known as the Great Millstone. Honors, salutations, and blessings to the body of Yahweh Shai and the hopeful elect, those that are teaching in unison the same doctrine, in the same spirit, okay, throughout the four corners, on the highways and byways of the water. The topic or the title of this is Be a Leader. Okay, be a leader. So that's something you're supposed to be growing into. Okay, if you're not one already, you're supposed to be growing into a leader. You're supposed to be decline. All right. So you're supposed to be growing into these habits, this mindset. Okay, because that's what men of the Lord were. They were leaders. Okay, they were able to do what needed to be done. Okay, Yahweh Shai was sending them out 2 by 2s. Okay, 2 by 2s is how they were sent out. And when you look at the men of old and ancient, what you notice is that they're put in high positions. They're elevated. They're supervisors. They're superiors. Okay, they're governors. They're rulers. They're presidents. And the Most High even said of the men of the Lord that their hands were going to prosper. Okay, meaning whatever they got into or involved with, the Most High was going to make it to prosper. So they put their hands to the work, and the Most High would increase them constantly. So that's the mindset that you're supposed to have. You have a precept on deck.
So yeah, this is Numbers chapter 31 and verse 14. So I know that's what it is.
If anyone had a quick precept, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's 31. Yeah, Numbers chapter 31 and verse 48. It reads, and the officers which were over thousands of the host, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses. I brought that out because, even though Moses was the head at this time, the head of the nation of Israel, you had men, that, like the scripture said, was captains of thousands and captains of hundreds. So you're always in a position to lead, even though you might not be in a position of a head of a camp, because the head of the camp is leading the camp. There's still a rank and file. There's still a chain of command. So there's always a brother underneath you, that's looking to you for guidance. That's especially new brothers coming into the fold. They're going to be looking. They're not going to be rubbing elbows with the head of the camp like that. So they're going to be amongst the younger brothers that's in the body. So those younger brothers got to be a righteous example and be mindful of the energy and the characteristics or the way they maneuver around that brother to instill within him righteous attributes.
Yep. Trying to find Proverbs real quick. Okay, this is Proverbs 21 and 16. Actually, we'll start at verse 15. It is joy to the just to do judgment, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So you have new guys, constantly every year coming in and going out. And one of the things that gets them removed is, first and foremost, you can tell that they're not, they don't have leadership qualities. They're they can't humble down. They're uncoachable. These are traits and signs to look out for. Someone is unwilling and very stubborn. They don't want to change. Matter of fact, brothers, get scriptures on becoming a new creature if you're not in the department yet. Because that's really what it takes to become a leader, is becoming a new creature. So everything that you thought you knew, okay, you don't know. That's basically what it comes into, because you're a newborn babe. Okay, this word, it's sincere. But this word, even though it's milk, is going to cut you, and it's going to cut you deep. But as a leader, someone that has that quality, it's in you. You can't really train everyone to be a leader. That's the thing. So the elect, the 144,000, the men, those are leaders that were predestined from the beginning to be who they are and what they will be, because they're going to be using their talents to be rulers over many, many things that Yahushua is going to give them. Okay.
This is in 2 Corinthians chapter 5.
All right, it should be back up. All right. So, like your technical difficulties, go ahead and reread that precept again, Baruch.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Yahushua, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new.
Right. The old man has passed away. These things are become new. So being reborn, okay, which these, like we were saying, these things, they got to be in you. Okay. The Most High has chosen and created you from the beginning to have these qualities. So even though you got brothers in the camp that might just be on post or holding signs, they're still supposed to be getting groomed up to be able to run the business. Okay, they're supposed to be able to inherit, okay, the camp, okay, and run that camp with the same standards. Weekly. You got to stay on top of brothers daily, weekly, monthly, and then just repeat. And they got to be able to instill these repeatable processes. They need to be able to duplicate perfection. It's the parable of the talents all over again. Okay? You're not supposed to be sitting idle. You're supposed to be about your Father's business. And your Father's business is pushing this word. And an old man, okay, an old creature, okay, can't do it. The new creature has to do it.
Okay, so new wine and old one.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
This is Colossians 3:9. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
Right. So you put on the new man, okay, after the image of him that created him. Be ye perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Okay. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So it's already in you. That's what, it says, if any man say, look here is the anointed, there is the anointed, believe them not, for the kingdom of heaven is in you. A ruling class mentality. If you desire scepters and thrones, if that be your desire, then hearken unto these ways that are right. Okay, listen, O ye kings of the earth, man. Okay, so that leadership mentality, it's not for everyone. Okay, that's part of the gift. The ruling the nations with the rod of iron, that's not given to everyone. That's only given to a select portion. And that's why you see a lot of these groups, they don't tap into these topics, which you see the elders and apostles getting into dealing with self-esteem. Brothers sharing the etymology of certain words like doubt. What it means is it's a demon and it's double-minded. You're second-guessing yourself. You're not trusting the spirit that was in you because the spirit that's in you isn't right. Okay, so you can't. You can play. You got some guys out there that play Bible. They play Israelite. They play teacher. They play prophet. Okay, they're just for play. But for those of us that take this serious, we understand the internalization that has to happen, okay, and the growth that follows with it.
You got something? You got something to tell you?
Go ahead.
Two precepts, real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9. It says, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Who is he going to teach? Hey, those newborn babes. As newborn babes, desiring the sincere milk of the word, being reborn, okay, being reborn into this, into the knowledge, not bringing the old man with you, okay, being responsible and with the upbeat, you could say, mindset is really the mindset you're supposed to have, because when guys, when they first come in, they're like, man, everything's messed up. The world, hey, we're only going to be here for a couple months. And so they keep themselves in this rut. They stay in this rut, this low degree mentality, this low self-esteem that, I really don't got to do much because, the Lord Yahushua is about to come back. So I don't have to do much. I can live a carefree life of just being, basically almost non-existent until they go out on the weekends, if they go out at all. And that's not so. You look, like I said, look at the men of old. They all had work, okay, and they didn't doubt what they were about, while others ridiculed them. Think about that. Noah was building a boat, and everyone said, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." Everyone was mocking him and making fun of him, but at the end of the day, look where he ended up, and look where they ended up. At the end of the day, look where Job ended up, and where his family ended up. Okay, and so on and so forth.
Continuing on, verse. Well, no, that's the
Modem?
no, the call on
Oh, okay.
the batteries.
Okay, go ahead.
But it said, weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Psalm 131 and verse 2. It says, surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child.
See, my soul is even as a weaned child, man. So being reborn into the knowledge, okay, you got to pull away that old man, like the scripture, I think Paul quoted it. That old man, he's mortifying the members, dying daily. You're supposed to put off that old man more and more day by day. And day by day, you're putting on the new man. Okay, which a lot of these guys, like I said, they never get into these topics because they can't. The spirit isn't in them. That's why you see a great millstone going through these motions and these movements, because that is the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. When you're busy and you actually desire to see the business flourish, what do these people do? They go out and they make things happen. Look at that movie, Jerry Maguire. You think he got successful because he cared what other people thought? What do you think the scripture is talking about when it says you're going to be a spectacle amongst everyone, but fear not none of their things, because they're not going to befall you. No harm shall befall you. And whatever does come to thee, hey, look at what happened to Paul. They would mock Paul. Oh, well, look at Paul. Hey, but he got up and he kept going.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So that's the whole point. Like, your faith is stronger than the belief of non-believers. And a lot of people, they can't handle that burden, man. They can't handle that ridicule. So that's why everyone isn't coming together. Okay, there's standards. All these Hebrew Israelite groups that are out there, look, we're not all going to come together, man. Only the true elect, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, are going to be able to come together.
Real quick, just something important. This is Colossians 3:5. It says, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry."
Yep. You see? So the scriptures, they tell you things that you got to cut out, but you can also find how other things could relate and be seen as doing those things. And the scriptures even say to abstain from all appearance of evil. Okay? So even though it might be lawful, it might not be expedient. It may not be prudent of you to do such things. And you got these guys out there that they think they're above the law, and that's how you know that they're really not in any type of concern for their life or those around them, because the way they operate themselves. You've been to a company and you've seen companies that don't invest within themselves. Like, man, we got these shitty ass brooms. They've been run over by forklifts and shit. And you still got to use them. Or they got these carts with broken wheels. It's like, why are they still using these busted ass carts with no wheels? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like this company makes a lot of money, but they're not investing in the things that continue to make them money.
Right.
So as a leader, you're supposed to see yourself and say, okay, look, I'm worth investing and I'm worth the time. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, invest in me, show me things, groom me, make me a better person than I was yesterday and 5 years ago. Okay, that's a mentality you're supposed to constantly carry. Okay, it's all too easy to have an excuse and to make up a reason to not do something. Well, that's just a lack of motivation. What the hell are you not motivated about, man? What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is taking you so long to get in gear? Who the hell would hang on to a bike where every time you shifted the gears, it took a week for it to click over? You know how long you'd be sitting there pedaling? You're not going anywhere, man. So wouldn't you get rid of it? Wouldn't you cast it out into utter darkness? Well, it's the same concept, man.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13. For they that have used the office of a deacon well purchased to themselves a good degree and great boldness in the faith which is in Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
What verse was that?
Verse 13.
Book, chapter, verse?
That's 1 Timothy 3 and 13.
Oh, yeah, that's the spirit. I was just reading through this whole, if I might say, I was just reading through this whole chapter, and brothers have brought this out in live streams, elders, apostles, and all that, man. And when you first read at the top, it gets into a man that desires the office of a bishop, which is a elder, basically. It tells you all the things that is required of a man that's desiring that position. And then it also gives you a position or details of what's required of a man that's a deacon or desiring the office of a deacon, which is a step under a bishop, man. When you look it up, it basically says a servant, a minister or whatnot. And these are all qualities that that individual must possess, man.
Yeah, to be a minister means to serve. To serve others. So as a leader, you're supposed to serve others. You're supposed to be on the level to where you're constantly calling people out and checking and mediating between each other. Okay, between the body and the camp and the brothers. Okay, we'll make sure our brothers coming to you with this or that. Then you're mediating between it and you're allowing them to work it out. Because like, hey, bro, that's obviously between you and them or you and that brother. Talk to each other. If you need help, if you need a mediator, then we'll go further because there's a protocol that Yahweh Shai left us. So you're supposed to be built up in all these little characteristics. It takes about 10,000 hours to master anything. That's 5 years. How many of these guys have been out there without leaders talking shit about the elders and apostles? Well, who are your teachers? Because even the Ethiopian eunuch said, how can I learn except a man teach me? So if you're not clocking your hours, guess what? When you go apply for that job and they say, how many years of experience do you have? You say, oh, well, you know, I do all this stuff under the table. Well, that's not verifiable. That's not verifiable. It's not verifiable, man. I can't contact anyone and you know, and I don't care if you demonstrate it to me. Like, how do I know you're operating within regulations and codes? Because you might be able to do that, but hey, you did that shit all wrong. You're about to lose a finger. You're going to hurt somebody. You're not aware of your surroundings. You're lacking basic leadership qualities, man. See, so when you get up to that 5-year, 10,000 hour mark, okay, you're responsible for people's lives, man. So you're not afraid to check people, say, hey, look, hey, stop, man. You cut the power. What the fuck you doing? You're going to kill somebody. You know, you're going to kill yourself type of. You're not supposed to be afraid, man. You know, leadership, you can't be sheepish. You know, but that means you're also not a tyrant either. So there's a whole balance that's supposed to come into play, man. You're constantly having the scriptures, the heavier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith circulating, and you're juggling those things, okay, figuring out, okay, well, why? Why is this? You're constantly reading so you understand, okay, well, the Most High is he's a discerner of the hearts and intents of men, so I should inquire of these things when I'm dealing with somebody. Be it a brother or a counsel or someone on the street. Okay, well, why is that? Well, why did you do that? Well, why do you think that way? Well, that's interesting. Tell me more. You allow, you know, you gotta go through those processes, and it's time consuming, yeah, but you gotta allow those things to happen. Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2. It says, "Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? If the world should be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?"
Right. And you know what? A lot of guys will use that to specifically to go against the elders and apostles, or to go against other brothers that are teaching what we've learned from the elders and apostles. So they're very small-minded, and rather than looking at everything with eyes wide open and spiritually, they got this little telescope, kaleidoscope, moving shit around. And it's like a fun house. Like, ooh, look, I got him in my focus now. Ooh, look, he look goofy. Look at him. Oh, turn him this way. Here, check it out. And they're passing that around, and they're all giving each other pink eye. You know? Or there's ink on it, so they're all walking around with this black circle around their eye. Looking foolish, man. Dudes are a joke. And you can tell because, hey, the quality of what they put out, it's always you know, unless you're subscribed to them on a certain channel, or you know, you go to watch their videos and it's a lack of content, you know, but yet they got the most shit to say on a comment board. You notice, hey, brothers that do the most videos don't talk a lot on the comment boards. Brothers that are serious and put up time into the videos, hey, we don't say a lot on the comment boards, man. You know why? Because it's a mentality of a leader who's rich in the spirit. We don't got time to waste on you fools, man. The time is not meant to stay there and look. If you don't get it, man, filthy. Hey, you're filthy still. You don't get it, man. It's not our job to force you into believing something that is not in you. We see it's not in you. There's a reason why you're not within the brotherhood, man. That's evident. Doesn't matter if we like you or we get along, you're a cool guy. All that shit doesn't matter, man. It's about becoming a leader, and a leader steps into things. That's what, when you look up the word, someone look up the word brave, Bob.
Bro.
You got it? Okay.
It's not brave, but.
Hey, go ahead, yeah.
In verse, 1 Timothy 3:13, was the brother read. Top of read, it says, "For they that have used the office of a deacon will purchase to themselves a good degree and great boldness in the faith which is in Hamashiach Yahushua." So I looked at that word boldness.
Mm-hmm.
Now that word boldness comes from the Greek 3954, parasia. In the Strong's definitions, it says all outspokenness, an example, frankness, bluntness, publicity, by implication, assurance, confidence, freely, openly, plainly. When you jump up to the biblical usage, it says freedom in speaking, unreservedness in speech, openly, frankly, an example without concealment. But
why do you think the scripture is related to an animal? What animal? What's he talking about? Bold as a lion. Because what is a lion doing? He's advertising. Wasn't that one of the definitions? To advertise, open publicly. Mm-hmm. The lion's not gonna hide. He's gonna roar. You know, he's gonna make known, hey, this is my area. You know, and then others are gonna answer back and be like, oh shit, we're outnumbered, we gotta go. But they make it known. You see what I'm saying? In all boldness. Okay, as bold as a lion. That's what this doesn't mean, oh, we're out here militant with some fucking clothing and a staff. Yeah. You know, and we're out here looking hard. Our faces are screwed and twisted. You know, our faces look like Chi-Town music. Screwed and chopped and down south shit. You know? That's not what it's talking about, man. Okay, it's talking about that you're not afraid to speak. If you believe, then therefore speak. And you should have a lot. There's a lot of stuff in this book to where you should be able to speak. And as a leader, okay, someone with a leadership mentality, all these things that you come across in articles and things of that nature, or just things that you experience in life, you're supposed to be able to filter all of it through the scriptures to have even more to say. Okay, because at certain places and times in the day, you got to bite your tongue. You can't, act a certain way on the job. You get these guys that they don't know no better. They go around, they get a job and they go around, karate kicking everything that fucking moves, from the inside of their house to the bus stop to the job, just doing madness, man. Roadhouse. Yeah, Roadhouse. Doing the Peter Griffin roundhouse kick, man. And it's madness, man. Okay, because you can see that their leaders, their mentors, aren't even teaching them, man. And they'll say, I have no leader, we have no leader, we have no teachers. Or these are the teachers, but we don't teach what they teach. Then they're not your teachers, man. That's like trying to start a business and you're reading all these books on business and millionaires and multi-billionaires and stuff, but you don't do shit they say because you don't believe them. But then look what they're doing and look where you're at. Look where they sleep at night. Look where you sleep at night. It's the same mentality, man. You got to be a slave to something. You got to be a servant to something. Go ahead.
It says without ambiguity.
Ambiguity. To be ambiguous means to have like a dual meaning. Like, I don't know, he's got this ambiguous look in his eye. Like I don't know if that's greed or treachery. I don't know what that is. But I can't trust I can't trust it for certain because it's ambiguous. It's dual.
I got the definition for ambiguity. It says doubtfulness or uncertainty of meaning or intention.
See, uncertainty of meaning or intention. Is he being deceptive or greedy? Like, well, what is he? Like, I don't know. You don't know. You see. So you're not supposed to have that trait of ambiguity. You're supposed to be, look, this is what it is, man. Go ahead.
It says an unclear, indefinite, or equivocal word, expression, meaning, etc.
That's right. Go. Let this brother read the word brave real quick.
This is brave from the online etymology. It says brave, adjective, exhibiting courage or courageous endurance. Late 15th century from Middle French, brave, splendid, valiant. From Italian, bravo, brave, bold. And then
see, brave, bold, courage. Courage isn't just courage is doing stuff when you're afraid. Is going against your fears, man. So going out there and, being a public speaker, most people are terrified of that shit, But you're supposed to be more like, well, look, I don't want to make the Most High look bad because I'm representing him. I'm the face of the company. So I want to make sure I'm studied up on all these topics so that when someone comes up, even if it was something that I may not have encountered before. If I listen closely enough to what they're saying, I know I can go into a precept or a scripture, a scenario, or something to prove them either wrong or to prove them right, to affirm that, yeah, you know something. Right, to defend the gospel. You see? But a lot of these guys, they don't have that mentality. Why? Because no father figures, raised by a bunch of women, no social skills, and then they don't want to learn them. So when you try to teach them these things, they're offended. Why? Because you're some white boy. They're offended. Why? Because you talk a lot with saying, you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? Feel me? You know, they find something to be disgusted at, and they miss the whole point in presentation. But a lot of these self-made millionaires and billionaires, they're not eloquent. You know, they don't look like the face of a Fortune 500 company. They don't look like some Jersey Shore dude. No, dudes, they're people that enjoy money. You know, they look crazy. Yeah, look at Bill Gates. You see what I'm saying? Everyone thinks he's the richest man for some dumb reason, but that's because they're taught by dumb people and they believe stupid people.
Was it Jeff Bezos for Amazon? He
Oh,
looked
okay.
like a fucking worm.
Yep.
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, yep.
They all, and it was all rats, man.
Yeah, rats always look crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Look like a working book.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
So look, man, the words that are used in these scriptures, really look into them and consider them. But notice that there's a lot of leadership that is being demanded and required, man. Okay, leadership. Be a leader. That's the whole point. That's why you're doing this. You're not doing this to ride coattails and stand in the shadow of other men. You need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, because the days and times come when you're on your own and you need to know how to navigate in a situation in life where you have no one to speak for you. That's why the scriptures are telling you to groom yourself up. Because when that day and that time comes, you're not going to have something that's rehearsed, a spiel. Don't think about it. The Most High will give you those words in that day and that time. But how are those words going to come unless you've been practicing, man? Unless you've been rehearsing. You see? You guys got a precept?
Was that all in that definition over there?
I think it was
more on that. Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 16:3-10. It says, know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
John. Yep. Go ahead.
2 Timothy chapter 2, 2 and 15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needed not to be ashamed.
See, needed not to be ashamed. Why? Because as a deacon, as a minister, as a bishop, being bold, you're speaking, so there's nothing to be ashamed about. That's why Yahushua said that those that are ashamed of me, okay, I'm not going to confess them before my Father, because He's going to be ashamed of you. You see how it's working now more and more? How you need to be a leader? Why do you think it talks about girding up thy loins now like a man? The Most High is going to demand of you. You need to give an answer. You got to go to war. Not up. Go ahead.
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
Rightly dividing the word of truth, man. A workman that need not be ashamed, man. See, there's no shame. Once you got this word, what's there to be ashamed of? Yeah, these things happen in this time and in that time and this and that. And you want us to be ashamed for that, but what about this devil, the so-called white man? He's not ashamed about any of the shit his people have done in history. But we're supposed to be ashamed about the righteousness of the Most High? Because you call something a rape doctrine, and you're trying to smooth and fluff it over so the world doesn't like it? But then what are you doing? What about the so-called white man? Hey man, the shit that he's done to our people. A lot of people, there's a lot of imagery on so-called, black oppression, right? There's a lot of imagery, pictures, and there's a lot of proof. But when it comes to the to the treatment of the Latinos and the North American Indians, there's really not a lot, okay, of imagery for what happened to the Northern Kingdom, man. How they took down the Aztecs and the Incas and the Mayans and the Taínos. They decimated them, man. Their shit doesn't exist. You see what I'm saying? There were no photographers for that shit. That's why you got to look at a lot of pictures and read more books. But because there's more pictures on what happened to the Southern Kingdom, you know, that it makes it different. It's not different. It's the same, man. It's the same. We got purged, and we continue to get purged, man. You see, there was a 100-year period from like the 18-something to like 1920s, like 1820, 1920, something like that. It's 100 years of Latins just getting lynched, like 600 of them, man. Where's that documentation? Where's the list of all the things that they've contributed to society and history in modern life? You know what happened? Their leaders failed them, man. Their leaders sold them out too. Guess what happened to so-called black culture? The leaders sold them out. You see how important it is to be a leader, man?
Deuteronomy 28, 68, no man shall buy thee.
Yeah, no one's going to redeem you. You know? You got to work out your own salvation with fear and with trembling. You need to be a leader, man. Working out that salvation even though death's in your face. It's not supposed to make you cower. You're supposed to stand boldly for it, man. Without apology. Okay, that's what a lot of these people want. They want some sort of, what the fuck's an apology going to do? If we were to apologize for whatever it is we've said or we've done, what is that going to do for you? It's not going to do shit. Just like if you were to apologize for what your ancestors have done, what does that do for me and my people?
Hey, you know what? Sloppy, brother.
Yeah.
Because that's what the world be looking for, that apology. Whenever a so-called white person says some crazy shit on national TV,
yeah, he apologized.
As long as they apologize or give a formal statement, they write a formal statement and they read a
statement of regret.
Yeah, a certain part of that in quotations that blast on the news. Mm-hmm. That makes everything better, supposedly. Like, it just hit me that when people do that, that's like that Man in Black pen. Yeah. Like all the sheeple in America, when they hear a so-called white man apologize for his racism, for his fucking hatred towards us Israelites, as long as he quotes or says something or writes something, and they put that out there in the media, and all these dumbass Israelites that are niggas and spicks and wetbacks and so on and so forth, Native Americans that see that, it's like Esau taking that Man in Black pen and erasing all his fucking wickedness that he just did, which was like less than 24 hours ago type shit, you know?
That ball spot come over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that Trump cut.
The Trump cut.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Have I not commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy power is with thee wheresoever thou goest.
Yeah, neither be dismayed, man. Don't be dismayed by their looks or, neither fear, neither doubt. Have neither fear and neither doubt, man. Don't be double-minded about it. If you believe, then believe it, man. The kingdom of heaven is in you. You're the one holding back the kingdom. For that little bit you don't believe, you're holding back the kingdom from coming, man. Because these words we're uttering the kingdom into existence. By the more we talk about these prophecies to come, we're ushering in the kingdom. You had some more?
Yeah, I had the blue letter on the word courage, or good courage. Really, the word courage from that scripture, Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. It's the Strong's H552, and the word is amataza. All right. Strong's definition starts. Strong's definition says to be alert, physically or mentally encouraged, confirm, be courageous, of good courage, steadfastly minded.
Steadfastly minded, unmovable. See, neither doubt, neither ambiguity. You see? Was that it?
Strong, stronger, established, fortified, hardened, increase, prevail, strengthen self.
As a good soldier, man. Strengthen, you're hardened. Your forehead has become hard against their forehead. Look, man, we see that the way of the world doesn't work. It hasn't worked for hundreds of years. But now that this truth has come out, and we see that what the elders and apostles have gone through and come from and are going, I see that as a better vehicle to travel in. Rather than
it never worked truthfully the way of the world. It always brought death.
Right, exactly. So why would you continue doing the same thing knowing it produces no result? There's no wealth in it, man. There's no market there.
There's no assurance of life.
Yeah, so why would you continue in the ways of death? Someone grab real quick Proverbs 24 and 7. And as soon as you get it, just bring it out. Okay.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate.
Boom. You see? Fools, they're not allowed to speak, man. Putting to silence every dumb thing, man. That's what you're supposed to be about. But what do these guys do? They get a little taste of the knowledge. They start trying to attack the predecessors, man. They try to attack, the teachers. They try to attack the parents. Man, what the hell? You know what happens to an unruly child? You get put to death, man.
Yeah, the patriarch, they attack the patriarch, but they let the matriarch mother just continue on and, being the wicked demon she is. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, this explains why these guys don't have a lot of content. They might put up a bunch of videos, but it's short content and it's no substance. Because a fool openeth not his mouth in the gate. You see, what are we talking about boldness for? Because your boldness is you speaking, not being ashamed of the message. That's what makes the feet beautiful of them that bring the glad tidings.
You're supposed to be rebuking at the gate.
Right, you're supposed to be rebuking, which is correcting at the gate, exhorting, healing. You think when a doctor resets a bone that it feels like a funny bone? You think it feels like tickles and buttercups when he resets a bone? Healing sometimes hurts, man.
Damn near all the time.
Yeah, damn near all the time, man. Man. Healing is not a pretty process.
If I could say this, when you asked for the brave definition, I looked it up on Google, and it gave the adjective, the noun, and the verb. If I could read through them real quick. All right, so the adjective for brave, it says ready to face and endure danger or pain, showing courage.
See, it doesn't say that you're not afraid, because you can still be afraid, but you're still going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Here's the noun. It says people who are ready to face and endure danger or pain.
Mm-hmm.
The verb, endure or face unpleasant conditions or behavior without showing fear.
Can I say,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you mentioned ready to face pain and so on and so forth. The Apostle Paul knew he was going to get put to death. And he said, I finished my course.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He knew he was going to face pain. The Apostle Peter, like all the apostles,
enduring pain. Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer topic, man. It's a no-brainer. But how many of these people don't have brains? That's the issue, man. Yeah, they got retard brains, man, pretzel brains.
Zombies don't have brains.
Yeah, they got donkey brains, man, stubborn as hell.
I asked you exactly what that brother brought out for the definition. 2 Timothy 2:1. Therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushai, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who should be able to teach others also.
What is that? That's a duplication process. So what you've seen me do, I've been teaching you, you've been watching. You do what I do and teach other men to do so. That's why Paul also said, be ye followers of me, even as I am of Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier.
You see? You don't entangle yourself with the affairs of this life, man. You're a soldier. Okay? So you don't show fear, even though you could be, having some fear. Hey, by you just going out and doing it, someone will be like, damn, that's where people standing afar off are like, damn, he's fearless. It's like, shit, he could still be scared, because the flesh, but the spirit overrides it. So that you just know it's your duty.
Yeah, they got movies and stories like.
It's a lot. I'm trying to get it to flip around. Okay. Yeah, talking about being fearless, and like soldiers, are seen as fearless, like the brother was saying, certain movies in particular.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was like an interview or a story where they're talking about a soldier who he had to like bear crawl like inch by inch for like a couple of days with camouflage all on him and shit, just to get like just to kill somebody. Like for days, like you out there, you gotta hold your piss, you gotta hold your shit, all that. And behind enemy lines, like that's initially what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So like that could be a crazy situation to where it's all the shit going on around you, but you gotta be still focused on the mission at hand,
Because that's how you produce the results. Look at that movie, Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
With the Seventh-day Adventist Gadite dude.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Grabbing up all those bodies. You don't think he was scared?
Yeah, he didn't have a weapon.
He didn't. Yeah, he went in there without a weapon. His whole job, he was just grabbing dead bodies and people barely living.
Yeah.
But that motivated everyone. To where they became fearless too. So he duplicated himself. That's the power of duplication. You see? So what are you supposed to be? You're supposed to be like Apostle Har said, maybe it makes more sense now. You're supposed to be mini Yahweh Shais. You are about your father's business.
The book of Eli.
The book of Eli. You see? More things come to mind.
What's that movie with Mark Wahlberg? Oh, Lone Soldier or Lone Survivor?
Yeah. Remnant.
Check to make sure it's still going.
Yeah, I think it is. I checked.
I don't got good internet reception for streaming, so I can't get nothing on my YouTube.
Yeah, we're good.
Make sure
I got
looping right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
John, this is 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. It says, "For the Most High hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of the Most High."
See, be a partaker of the affliction, man. And what do they always want to do away with to break something up? They always want to go for the head. Well, guess what, man? Why do you think Apostle Gabar is talking about we're a hydra? You chop off one head, there's 7 more sprouting up. That's why it's important to be a leader and have that leadership mentality. You're supposed to be groomed into a leader, man. You're supposed to be, in order to do that, you have to be coachable. Take correction. Do things that you're not used to. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like the brother was talking about behind enemy lines.
I was going to say, even Esau understands that what you said about the Hydra, because the beast has what? 7 heads.
7 heads, 10 horns. Right.
Brother got a precept?
I got a precept. It says, this is Proverbs chapter 24, verse 5. A wise man is strong, yeah. A man of knowledge increaseth strength.
Yeah. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, so, you know, the whole thing here is, you know, being a leader, being brave, being courageous, you know, and also being strong. The brother Taziar just read that precept in, what was that, in 2 Timothy, you know, where Paul was instructing him to be strong, man. You know, so it says, I'll read it again, a wise man is strong, yeah, a man of knowledge increases strength. You know, you gotta be strong in your mind, man. You gotta have a strong foundation. You gotta have strong faith, man. You know,
what the Lord tell Job when Job was crying out to him, he told him to gird his loins up like a man. You know, and Job was going through it, man. You know, afflictions of the body and whatnot. And when it says being strong, that don't mean go to the gym 10 days, you know, a month, or, you know, whatever the fuck, you know, 30 days a month, you know, and be cocky diesel and shit. Nah, man, it means mentally, spiritually strong, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is the whole reasoning behind us doing these lessons and sit downs and reading and studying, man, is to be rooted and built up in the faith. That way, when all hell is breaking loose, we'll be mentally strong while everybody else is weeping like a woman in travail.
Wasn't it written of Paul that he was, you know, in the flesh, you know, his appearance was weak or whatnot, but then in his letters he was bold and strong, man. You know, so it's that same concept. We gotta be bold and strong. Our spirit have to be strong, man. Our outward appearance is not about the outward appearance, man. It's just about, is you gonna fold under pressure or not, man? You know.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 12. Even so ye, for as much as ye are zealous of spiritual gifts, seek that ye may excel to the edifying of the church.
Yeah, that's the whole point, man. You got something you want to say?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, you know, like what the brother was saying earlier, as far as excelling, you know, and leadership qualities. You know, you can't be a leader unless you're building yourself up, man. Because how can you lead others, you know, build others up if you yourself ain't build up, you know? Like speaking first and foremost, you know, to myself, to ourselves, you know, like you have to, like on the job, you can't be put into a leadership position if you don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
If you don't know what you're doing.
Right. And you wonder why you got windows and shit missing in one area, the whole wall or another area missing.
Yeah.
You know.
Shit crooked.
Yeah, fucked up.
Yeah, part of the ceiling look like it belongs in a midget's house and shit. You know? Yeah, brother, got any more pieces? We're gonna wrap it up.
One last one,
you got something?
Colossians 2 and, my bad, Colossians 2 and 6. As ye have therefore received from Mashiach Yahushua the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built.
Hey, it says as you receive Yahushua Mashiach. All right, as you receive them, walk in them. Did you read that one more time?
This is Colossians 2 and 6. As ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yahushua the Lord, so walk ye in him.
Right. So the same way the Lord walked, you know, receiving that spirit, okay? Because it's more than just Yahushua when he physically walked the earth, like his outer shell. You know what I'm saying? Because he himself was subject to infirmities as well. All right, acquainted with grief. You know, and Apostle Rama brought that up that was talking about infirmities and whatnot. So it's not about the outer shell. It's about the Lord's spirit. You know what I'm saying? So as you receive that spirit, what did that spirit do when he was in the flesh, man? He was an upright man, an upright individual, an upright spirit, a just spirit. So that's the way we have to be amongst all this wickedness, man. Which is why in Revelation it says, let the righteous be righteous still, let the wicked be wicked still, so on and so forth, man. Yeah. So you receive that righteous spirit, continue on in it, you know, and strive to get better and become a leader, you know.
And it says, as you have therefore received of Mashiach Yahushua. So walking in him, and the word Mashiach or Christ, it just means anointed, man. In which the brother said we a statement from the Apostle Har, we gotta be many Yahushuas, and we have been anointed, man, with the oil, which is the Spirit of the Lord, man. So, and like the brother said, man, it's the, you know what I'm saying? We can't be his disciple, man. That's right. You know?
Oh yeah, is that you got a little more?
Yeah.
The apostles, they continue to receive more and more revelations. All right, so with the Most High giving them that, they're giving that to us, which that's building us up. That's keeping us rooted in Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if brothers got any last words, final words. All right, so you know, hey brothers, strive to be become leaders, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So with that, we give all praises unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakah, Kodash. Till next time, we say Shalom, Maki.
Shalom.
A British company is helping employers to microchip their staff. Biotech says it has already fitted 150 implants in the UK, which enable people to open doors or even start a car with a wave of their hand. But trade unions are warning that bosses already have too much power and employees should not be pressured into being chipped. Our technology correspondent Roland Manthorpe reports.
Stephen Northam has a chip, but it's not on his shoulder. It's right here, between his thumb and forefinger. The Hampshire-based investor had it implanted last year. He says it's proving, well, handy.
I use it to access my office, so all the doors are swipe card entry. My house actually has smart card entry now, so I swipe my hand to enter. And I can actually start my car by putting my hand on the steering wheel. So that's the general purpose.
Stephen's company, Biotech, sells the service to individuals, but also to companies.
So a whole range of people are buying this. It's a really thriving business now. So we've got engineering companies, we've worked with a bank interested in testing and technology, a local newspaper, a whole variety.
It's a small but growing trend. In Sweden, where around 6,000 people have chips, even the state-owned rail company has joined in.
And we have about 2,500 to 3,000 people using the microchip implants as tickets on our train services.
For some, the vision is of technologically transcending the limits of the human body. But the kit has some way to go.
People are not cattle. People are very complex beasts, subject to different whims. We need systems which are programmable, revocable, usable under duress, usable under situations of danger, crisis or perceived danger.
The whole chipping process takes 3 minutes under local anaesthetic. Cost? £70. Chips might seem futuristic, but really, they're just a visible sign of something that's already here. Because you don't need a microchip to be tracked on London's tube network. You just need one of these. Every time you tap in, you're being tracked. Every time your phone pings off the Wi-Fi inside, that's tracking you too. If you use one of these bikes, that's tracking you. And so is everything in the so-called smart city. The sci-fi dystopia we're also worried about is actually already here. Roland Manthorpe, Sky News.
2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Hakudash. Double honor to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. Shalom. Welcome to another update of the Mark of the Beast is indeed the RFID chip. And we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Of Esau's devices, one of his devices being that implantable microchip. Now this is on businessinsider.com. An article entitled "Several UK businesses are discussing implanting microchips in their employees' hands." And this article is by Sean Wolf, dated November 12th, 2018. And we've been speaking on this for a long time now, telling you people that this technology is coming to the forefront. Everyone's going to know about it because eventually it will be mandatory. Now it's voluntary, it's optional, but in the end it's going to be forced on you. And basically Esau, he's going to make it to where you won't be able to function in the society without that chip, because it's the mark of the beast. Okay. It says some prominent UK companies are planning to offer optional microchip implants for their employees, which would mostly perform the same functions as identification badges. Which that microchip is the badge of the Antichrist or the anti-Messiah, which is this system, this beast system. Okay, the Antichrist or anti-Messiah is not just one person. It's talking about this system. This system is against the Messiah. You wanting to implant a microchip in everyone on the planet Earth, that's against the Messiah. Okay, but the point is, it replaces your ID badge. Okay, so you can be identified by having this chip. Radio frequency identification. Okay, so several UK companies are adopting this technology, and they're getting it from Sweden. Biohacks, the Swedish company planning to offer its microchip services to UK businesses, didn't say which companies are considering the move. The company said the microchips can make everyday tasks faster, like buying food. Oh, like buying food. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? It can make everyday tasks faster, because the key word they're going to sell you is convenience. Okay? By making everything easier. All right, so it makes everyday tasks faster, like buying food and entering the building. Right, so yeah, you just scan your hand, you go into a door. Okay? You don't need a ID badge. You don't need to, use your fingerprint. Just swipe your chip. The implants are also able to restrict access to certain areas. Right, so the only people that has access to certain areas are the ones with that microchip. Workers at some UK businesses may soon be able to demonstrate that their dedication to the job is literally skin deep. Biohacks, a Swedish microchip company, is currently discussing with several prominent UK companies the possibility of offering microchip implants to employees, the Telegraph reports. Which at this time, there are over 4,000 people in Sweden alone that have these implanted microchips. Look it up. Also in Germany. Look it up. The main benefit of the procedure seems to be convenience. Right. Because see, people want things instant. They want things instant. They want to move fast. And with technology, everything is becoming more compact. Instead of you having a fatback television, everyone has a flat screen. Okay? And at this point, people have moved from desktop computers to laptops and even just using their cell phones. You have cell phones, you have tablets, or should I say smartphones? Okay, and tablets. Okay, you have smart TVs. But the main point is everything is becoming more compact. And with this technology, see, they went from wearables, okay, from you wearing certain things. For example, you have earpieces, or you have a watch. Even dealing with your cell phone, you carry your cell phone everywhere you go, so you're wearing it on you. All right, your wallet, you know, you have your wallet on you. They're taking that to say that, well, you know what? Now we need to put it in you, put everything in you now. Okay, and implantable instead of a wearable. Okay, but going back to this article, it says the microchip implant essentially serves as an internal employee identification badge, but it can also make purchases. The chips can be used to grant access to buildings and to pay for things. Around the office, like food or print jobs. They can also be used to restrict access to certain off-limits areas. Whether having electronic circuits implanted between your thumb and forefinger, is your idea of a job perk or a dystopian nightmare depends on your perspective. But the Telegraph notes that the chip implants will be optional for employees for right now. Biohacks didn't name any of the companies that were considering the implants, but one is a financial service with hundreds of thousands of employees. Biohacks told the Telegraph. The implants are similar to the microchips commonly used with pets and are inserted into the hand between the thumb and forefinger. And see, this is why the elite call the masses of people Goyim. All right, which from the Hebrew, Gawoyam, which means cattle. Okay, they actually look at you like animals, like pets. That's why they want to chip you. Biohacks says the implant process only takes a few seconds. After they're implanted, the microchips work similarly to contactless payment systems, just like you use on your phone. Okay, you use certain contactless payment systems to pay for things. All right, you have a Samsung Pay app, you have a Walmart Pay app, etc. You know, people pull up at Chick-fil-A, you know, through the drive-through, and they'll pay with the Chick-fil-A app. Same technology. Okay, you know, instead of you using a QR code, you know, a quick response code, you're using a microchip. The employee will just need to present their hand to a scanner to activate it. This is the future, man. This shows that we're in the future. Yeah, and it says read more about thousands of people in Sweden are embedding microchips under their skin to replace ID cards. Right, so that has happened already. Some have voiced their concerns over the practice, including UK labor unions like the Trade Unions Congress. We know workers are already concerned that some employers are using tech to control and micromanage, whittling away their staff's right to privacy. TUC General Secretary Francis O'Grady said to Joanne Osterlin, the founder of Biohacks, anticipated this kind of response, but said employees shouldn't be worried. If this came from a government, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? No, that's not going to happen. Osterlin said to the Telegraph, we're a private actor. We're doing this with our community, for our community. But you know what? The elite are behind everything. When it comes to technology like this, they're behind it. They are behind it. So don't take that damn chip, man. All right, you saw it heavy in Sweden. Now it's heavy in the UK. All right, and since I mentioned Sweden, here's an article here. It's a bit older, but this is on foxnews.com. It says, are you ready for a chip implant? And this was published November 3rd, 2018. So this is all recent. Are you ready for a chip implant? And this article is by John Brandon with Fox News. So this is no fairy tale. You see that this is happening in real time. Okay? You walk into a grocery store and pick up eggs. No smartphone, no problem. You swipe your hand across a reader and the amount is deducted from your bank account. This the future. Because you got to ask yourself, why is this news? Why is this mainstream? They're pushing for it. If that sounds far-fetched, you obviously haven't been to Sweden recently, where thousands of people have reportedly had chips implanted in their bodies. A company called Biohacks has already installed around 4,000 chips in customers, inserted just below the thumb. They can use the implant to open secure doors, pay for tickets, and share emergency information with medical personnel. The chip is about the size of a Tylenol pill or the size of a grain of rice, and the procedure, which costs $180, is similar to getting a tetanus shot, which if you want to read the rest of this, you can read on your own, but it's all relevant. It's all saying the same thing. This thing is here, and it's here to stay until the Messiah comes, which is Yahweh Shai. So with that, don't take that damn chip. I'm going to leave you with this scripture here, which we all know, but I'm going to get it anyway because we're in that time. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Don't take that chip. Don't take that damn chip, all right? Because there is a judgment for taking that chip. When you read in Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 on down to verse 11, it tells you that you're going to be destroyed for taking that chip. You're not going to go to some damn hell dimension, but you're going to be burned in that nuclear holocaust, which is going to take place during World War III, because America will be destroyed, because America's Babylon the Great. So with that, I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
What are these microchips for?
Well, sovereign identity, protection of your data and your personal integrity. And besides that, it's an awesome tool to handle all your digital interactions throughout the day, making them more secure and easier.
So who's using them at the moment, and why specifically?
Well, anyone above 18 that breathes. We have 65-year-old government officials all the way down to 18-year-old tech students.
So if a company comes to you and says, well, we want microchips for our staff, what is the company using them for? What's the difference between the traditional ID pass that you swipe to get in and out of the building, for example, and a microchip?
Convenience, for one. And two, technology has moved into the body, and it already begun, and it's not going to stop. So our main priority is making sure that it's made for the user and by the user, rather the other way around. I mean, it's more likely a user goes to the company and says, we want this to be implemented. I want to be able to use my chip in my workplace. One of those were TUI Travel, for instance. Now they're outfitted with 100 microchips. 20 of those are C-level executives, and they've integrated an entire ecosystem to support NFC implant usage. I mean, that creates new types of data. It creates a new type of behavior, new types of behavior data that's owned by the user.
I mean, I suppose there is a fear, isn't there, that this is a little bit Big Brother, really. And if I'm working for a company and they say to me, well, if you'd like to, you can have a microchip fitted and then all of your data is stored there. You can get in and out of the building. You can get access to the printers. You can get access to documents. I'm thinking to myself, well, what else can they have access to about me?
Well, the thing is, all the data aggregated in your control. So you decide where the data goes, if it goes, when it goes, and to whom, and also what you get paid for it. So we're already, before the GDPR, we were protected by the PUL, so basically personuppgiftslagen, which protected your personal data. Now the GDPR is like a big brother to that law, and besides just protecting you and giving you the right to kind of demand misuse of it, anyone misusing it now get a 20 million euro fine or a 4 to 5% on net. So actually trying to take advantage of it would be kind of silly, I guess.
So you've explained about the user protecting their own data. What's in it then for a company? Why should they spend quite considerable sums, I suppose, if you're talking about an entire company, having employees fitted with these implants?
Well, besides everyone being 90% more efficient in everyday interaction and access management, ID management, reporting, and so on, you can let go of a pretty substantial chunk of administration, which is just checking in and out cards, replacing cards, renewing them, reissuing them, and so on and so forth. Just take a hospital, for instance. The fact that you have your accreditation in a plastic card that you can forget while taking lab reports, and then you go to X-ray, and then you got to log in, but your card is still in lab. I mean, that 1 hour doesn't amount to 1 hour of his paycheck. That amounts to 1 hour for everyone that he's going to meet throughout the entire day, cascading. That sums up to substantial amounts of subsidiary money. I mean, that's money that can be well spent somewhere else. Time more well spent.
And in terms of the practicalities of it physically, where and how is this implant fitted?
Between thumb and index, right here. It's a pretty robust area. It's easy and agile, and it's well protected. It's like getting your earlobe pierced, let's say.
And if an employee leaves the company, what happens then?
You mark the employee, press delete, done.
So the microchip stays, but the information is gone.
I mean, your access and your restrictions, you just need to remove it from your database. It's like if you remove a contact from your contact list. It's that easy.